Hey everybody, wanted to get back to you again quick. I got a couple more emails yesterday with some more questions, some pretty in-depth questions, and I wanted to get to those as quickly as I can. I will try to keep this a little bit shorter than the first video. I think it went over 20 minutes. I know I can be long-winded at times, but I'll get right into it. The first couple questions was from a player, and it asks, what's the best way to use social media on the recruiting process? Certainly through videos, that helps. We have, CBT just through our Twitter followers. I think I just tallied it up. We have over 250 colleges that follow us on Twitter. So that's a huge factor in getting seen by coaches. They're on there every day. Social media is great. It's free, and people are on it seemingly all the time. So that's a big one. But I would say more importantly, with social media, you have to be really careful with it. The one of the first thing people do, and it's something I do as well. When I'm looking at a player for our program for CBT, is I go on social media. I look at what they post. I look at things that they reply to, their response, how they talk. Um, if they're respectful to others on social media. What pictures they're posting. Specific things that they say. I know coaches, college coaches are looking at that all the time. That's really their first impression of you. Oftentimes is through social media, through Twitter. So honestly, the best thing that I can say with that is to be really careful and understand every post that you make can make or break you. If it's something that is disrespectful to somebody else, to your teammates, your current coaches, your family, things like that. So social media can it can help in many ways, but I've seen it really hurt players and their chances in getting recruited by not using that platform the right way. So just be careful with that. How has COVID changed recruiting? I touched on that a lot in the previous video. Obviously, all recruiting, for Division I and Division II schools right now the recruiting process has been pushed back as far as in-person recruiting all the way to January 1st of 2021. Quite possibly that could be pushed back even more. So videos, social media is at the forefront for sure, at least for those two levels, Division I and Division II junior colleges. Division III and NAIA schools pretty much can recruit year round with very limited recruiting blocks. So COVID is here. It's not going to go away. But Division I, Division IIs, they can't get outside and recruit outside of campus or off campus until at least January 1st of 2021. They are still recruiting heavily, obviously, through phone calls, text messages, emails, social media. I know many of those. We have guys currently being recruited by schools, but that is all through phone calls, text messages, emails. I know some people will be trying to get on campuses for recruiting. That is allowed on campus recruiting. So I know some of our guys are taking visits here in the next few months. But anything off campus for Division I and Division II schools is not allowed until at least January 1st of 2021. A couple more in-depth questions I have here. The question says, I have a kid that did really well and was recognized at a PBR showcase. What action should I take to make sure college coaches see his measurables? From there, you don't really have to do anything. If you do a PBR showcase, all those coaches are on PBR. So, they're going to see those things. Most coaches I know go through all those videos. It's their jobs. They're pretty thorough with those things. But you can use those. I know Prep Baseball Report allows you to use those videos and you can use those when you send out an email to a college that you may be specifically interested in. Like I talked about yesterday, find those three to 4 to 5 schools. You can use your PBR video. Keep it short and sweet. The email to the coach, your name, your travel program. Leave my name, my contact info. Send that video. Keep it real short. Keep the videos short, like I said, 2 minutes or less. The PBR ones are short. That's really all you're going to need, and send a video, or I'm sorry, an email that way. College coaches like short and quick because they get a lot of them, but certainly they will go through them. It's their jobs. They want to find the best players and the best fits for their program. So certainly that is a way to go about it. Another question 2 here. It says, I have a kid that works really hard, and both you and I think they can play at the next level. His measurables aren't at the top of any list from a showcase. What actions should my son and we as parents take to make sure college coaches get introduced to him? Well, number one is travel baseball. Travel baseball is a big thing. Just being in our program, and there's other great programs in our area, in our state. Getting involved in that is a huge thing. I mean, I was just on the phone with a college coach, and he asked me which 2021s are that we have that are still uncommitted, and that he thought I would recommend that would be a good fit for their program. And I gave him 4 names, and he's going to be recruiting those 4 players. So there's reasons why travel baseball is here. It's to help you get your son's name out there. College coaches know who we are. They know who I am. They know who our coaches are. And they oftentimes just call us and say, hey, who do you have? Who should I recruit? Who would be a good fit athletically, academically for my program? And we give them those recommendations from our players. Question number 3, we have attended a lot of PBR showcases. We also get invited to do lots of others, including other organizations and even individual college camps. These all cost money. How do you recommend we prioritize what types of events we take our son to? I really think if you keep it simple, if you go to 1 or 2 PBR events a year, a perfect game event a year. I know down in Iowa and Cedar Rapids is the headquarters for Perfect Game. They also have a couple camps through some facilities and academies here in Wisconsin. Certainly do one of those each year. I know PBR, a big one is the preseason ID. There's one in Madison, Kenosha, Milwaukee. There's also one up here in the Fox Cities. I'm not sure where they're doing it this year in the Fox Cities, but certainly do that. Keep an eye on the Prep Baseball Report website. Those should be coming out here any day. But those are extremely important. Every college coach I know is subscribed to Prep Baseball Report. It might be, and oftentimes is the first contact that a coach sees a player, and then whether they like them or not. If they like them, they're going to find out what organization they play for. They're going to go to those organizations' websites. They're going to find out what tournaments they go to, and then follow kids accordingly to those schedules. So there's a lot of them out there. If you have high aspirations to go to a really high school, I know big Division I schools, those camps can be really beneficial because you can get in front of those coaches, in feet of them and on their campuses and on their fields, and they'll have their head coaches, recruiting coordinators, assistants, and other people involved with the program at those events. So those, it can never be a bad thing. You don't want to do too many of them. But like the question says, everything costs money. So you got to just prioritize which ones that you would want to go to, and which ones are going to be, a reality for your son. And we can help you with that too. Our staff, myself, we can kind of guide you in those directions. You just have to ask, and we can help you understand that we have, 40 kids in the program, and we'll get to you. Just ask us questions, shoot us an email, text message, and we can lead you in the right direction. As one of our advocates for our son, this is another question here. What do you specifically do to connect players with college programs, and which colleges or programs do you actively communicate with? Like I said before, we have over 250 colleges following us on Twitter. I kind of want to combine the next question too. So as a newer program, how do you go about introducing yourself and your program to college baseball coaches around the Midwest, in any division, so they know you, and most importantly, get to know your players? So CBT is relatively new. CBT, we started, we went into business as basically just a lesson and training program on January 1st, 2017. Quickly grew into travel teams, a travel program. I have been doing this since 2010. It's early 2010 in travel baseball. Basically through the state of Wisconsin, the Panthers were the second travel program in the entire state. There's the Hitters down in Racine, Kenosha. They've been around for almost 30 years. And then the Panthers came about. We had tremendous success, especially early on into the mid 2010s, and from there, tons of travel programs popped up throughout the entire state. So I know I've been doing this longer than anyone besides the Hitters. I know a lot of coaches and a lot of coaches, not just throughout the Midwest, but throughout the country. Guys that I played college with that are coaching, guys that I played in the Northwoods League that are coaching, and just through all the contacts I've made since 2010. So we're certainly a new program name wise, but people know who we are. They know who they know who I am, and this isn't. I don't like to call us a new program because it's not. We have a new name. So how do we connect players? A lot of times college coaches contact us, and they, like I said before, they ask us who we have. They ask us who we would recommend, and we've had a pretty good track record of success with placing kids to programs of all the different levels, from Division I to JUCO to NAIA. I've had 225, or I think it's 227, 228 players that I've helped. 53 of those to the Division I level, others to the junior college levels, and everywhere in between. So we have a good reach throughout the Midwest and the country. We have great relationships with the in-state schools. Obviously, I played at Milwaukee. The coaches are still there when I played. I know Coach Davenport at Madison College really well. They're one of the top, probably top 2 junior colleges in the Midwest. We've got a lot of contacts, and can get our kids to a lot of different levels of college baseball. Have you ever sat down with my son and had an honest conversation with him about where you think his talent could take him in terms of post-high school play? With every player that we have, it's at different times, but we always tell our players where we think they can play. Usually we do that pretty early. A lot of times we use that as a motivation process, and that's helped me and our players a lot. It kind of can light a fuel to a fire for a player. If they're not at a level we think they can play at, or where they think they can play at, and it's a challenging mechanism for us to motivate them, maybe get them stronger, get them in a weight room more, get them working out more, get them coming to more practices throughout the winter. But we are certainly honest with our players. There are times that we've been wrong, but that basically a player's drive, determination, their work ethic, obviously their skill set is going to get them to the levels that they deserve. And I always tell people, prove to me the level that you want to play at, prove it to me, and I will advocate for you. I'll pick up a phone and call a school for any of my kids that deserves that um, backing. If they prove to me through hard work, passion for the game, going the extra mile, staying late after practices. I'll call anyone that they want me to if it's within reason, and a college coach or I think a college coach will like that player's skill set and think it can match their level of college. Um, Another question here: what can my son do on his own to introduce himself to college programs he is interested in playing for? Going back to kind of those PBR videos or any videos that we do, just shoot those. Find those colleges. Look on the websites, find the recruiting coordinators, send those guys a quick email. Say, hey, my name is so and so. I play for the CVT Wolfpack out of Appleton. Here's a quick video. I'm interested in your school, and playing there. Keep it short and simple like that. Obviously leave, my name, my contact information, because they're going to want to reach out to me to verify, things. But I mean that's pretty much as simple as that. You don't want to write a book to them. You want a short paragraph with contact info and a video. That's basically all you got to do. The next question, I think we've got a couple more. As a parent, knowing when a college coach, any division, can talk to my son or a parent is very confusing. Can you explain these rules so I know who can talk to me or my son and when? That's a really good question. For Division I and Division II, there's different things called quiet periods and dead periods. Right now, basically everything is a quiet period. The outside recruiting for Division I and Division II coaches, they can't do that till at least January 1st of 2021. So everything is through email, phone calls, text messages. There are also things called dead periods. So according to the NCAA website, this year, if it wasn't for COVID, quiet periods would be August 19th through September 12th and October 14th through February 29th. So those would be times where coaches can't recruit outside of campus. They can set up unofficial visits where they could, talk to players and parents on campus. They can also they can have their program camps where the players can come and play and practice on campus, but they cannot go out and watch an athlete compete in a game or a showcase within those quiet periods. And then there's some short dead periods, like the dead periods originally for this year were going to be November 11th through the 14th and January 2nd through the 5th. The dead period is no contact at all. So a coach can't call, email, or even respond to a player's text or phone call or anything like that. So a dead period is exactly that. You can't have any contact whatsoever. Obviously, those are it's basically like a week, 3 to 4 days, and then those other times, August 19th to September 12th is a quiet period. October 14th through February 29th is also the other quiet period for Division I's and Division II's. So the rest of the year, coaches can get out, they can recruit, they can watch kids play in tournaments and games. They could even make house visits. Other levels like Division III, NAIA, and JUCO, most of those, as far as I know, don't have any restrictions, so they can contact you, pretty much any time throughout the year. So it's a nice advantage for them, especially through COVID. I know this past year, Division I's and Division II's weren't allowed out to tournaments, so we saw a lot of junior colleges, Division III's, and NAIA schools with boots on the ground at our tournaments. We had a lot at our home tournament this year. I think we had 9 or 10 JUCO, Division III, and NAIA guys, out watching our guys playing live in our tournaments and other tournaments throughout the summer. So usually Division I's and Division II's, those schools that can offer scholarships have a little bit more restrictions on what they can do as far as those quiet periods and those dead periods throughout the year. You can also look at those. You just Google, NCAA Division One, Division Two quiet periods. Those are updated, yearly. Those change on a yearly basis. So you can find out for yourself just right through Google. But those are some of the specific questions that we had. After the first video I did, I got a couple more responses last night, and those are all really, really good questions. But again, to wrap this up, I can't make it clear enough that everybody's out of the 200 plus kids that I've helped, not one of those has been the same, as far as their process. It's just there's no science to this. There's no right way to do it. There's no magic formula. Um, you know, basically being involved in our program, in a travel program, getting to a PBR event a year, a perfect game event a year, getting your name out there, improving your skills. I can't reiterate that enough. It's all about your skill set. Get to be the best baseball player that you can be, and then honestly, the chips are going to fall where they may. As long as you're involved in a good travel program, you're getting to a PBR event, a perfect game event. And the technology these days through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff has made the process actually a lot easier to get out to coaches, and that's our job. The entire morning this morning I was either on phone calls, text messages, or emails with coaches throughout Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa. Just telling them about our players and giving them my 2 cents on them and their background and what kind of people they are, what kind of practice, how they practice, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we do. This is, I do this full time. So, just keep getting better, get stronger, get in weight rooms, and we'll get, ready to get after it come the week of November 15th, and we'll go from there. So, if there's any more questions, I'd love to answer more. This is easy for me to do. Technology is great. If there's something specific that you want me to address, I can, and I will. Just shoot me a text message or an email, and we'll get that out to you guys. But thanks for listening, for watching, and we'll be in touch soon.